thanks for joining us live. And
What's
we're talking Stadium today.
We are.
So we're gonna hop in and answer all your questions. We have a bunch from the internet that we're gonna answer. But if you have questions, pop them in the chat. And
Yes.
we were kind of talking a bit just before now about DSP in the new unit in the Stadium, and how much more is there? Bradford, you ran through your signal chain, but just kind of go through your live signal chain and on Stadium versus what you were able to do on Helix.
Yeah, and if you are wondering why we already talked about this, the video didn't get marked as unlisted, so
That's
people
right.
probably, if you didn't know the link existed, you may not got notified. So we're covering this again.
It's user error on our side.
We're new. We haven't done lives.
We're new to the
from
YouTube.
Different states. Yeah, we're new on the YouTube channel device. Yeah. So one question that I've seen, which I get where people are coming from, is like how much DSP it has. To which my question is, well, what standard of measurement would you like me to use, or like how would you like me to go about answering that question? Because like there's no way to compare anything. There's Brian, how much space do you have on your laptop? What's your hard drive? Like
I think I have a 4 terabyte drive.
Yeah, I have 2, I think, or something. Whatever. Either way, you can, as guys who make video, we need more terabytes. We can't really deal in gigabytes anymore. It's kind of like arbitrary, like on Helix though, because even between Stadium and original Helix, and this is something I think Eric Klein has said too. He's like, there's no way to like really say that, because Fractal could make a block for a reverb that takes way more delay or way more space, and like line 6
it's all about the algorithm, right?
Yeah, and it's
code.
like even Fractal is different, because FM9 has different chips than Axe-Fx. And it's like, I wasn't even thinking about this initially, Brian. But doesn't like FM9 use a chip just for reverb or something?
I think it does, and one for amps.
Yeah.
The computer analogy is more like what is your CPU, and then what is your GPU, and then how does your computer utilize those two things for different tasks, right? So, and I think that from what I understand, Stadium is using different types of processors than Helix does. I don't know. Eric has posted about this in groups and forums, and it's just like, it's not like a set like, oh, Helix was 100 and Stadium is 200. So it doesn't quite work that way. And the way the different blocks utilize things is more dynamic. So yeah.
So I'll say this, because this will be a way, and actually I just saw a question somebody was asking.
Yeah.
Basically like wanting to know the same thing. This was on Facebook, and you know what? It was Devin Bumstead, our buddy at Tony
Hey, Devin.
Shepherd. He's a great dude. He commented on this too. I cannot now find the question because Facebook's.
I was going to say I could put it on the
system
screen,
is a
but it's
pain in
on
the rear.
It's on Facebook.
Yes, it is. Oh wait, I found it. Chris Northern brought this up, and he's expressing basically the same thing that I am. He's like, I have to settle for just 2 or 3 flavors of delay reverb and not get all the modulation I might want, and have to use snapshots or whatever. I get that. I will go through my whole chain. I start with.
I will too after you do.
I have poly pitch in there, which is a big deal.
Ooh.
I need to try throwing.
This is in the first row, the top row.
All in the first row. That's good. That's a good clarifying point. While you're doing yours, I'm gonna get my Stadium and I'm gonna see if I can fit capo, poly capo. That'd be. You have mine on there, don't you?
I do actually. Yeah.
Can you see if you can put a poly capo on there? I changed it to simple pitch.
You mean change your simple to poly?
Yeah. Well, I know the poly should be able to be in there. I just like the sound of the simple more, but it let me do poly.
Like for a POG. Yeah.
Yes. But I'd be very interested to know if you could even fit a poly capo in there.
You absolutely can. You can change your simple pitch block to a poly pitch or poly capo.
Well, would you look at that?
Like,
So
you
this will
can
get
change
more
it to
impressive.
literally anything you want in the pitch parameter. There's
This
so
will get
many
more
blocks.
impressive as I explain my chain. Then so
This
let's
is
listen to
Bradford's. This is Bradford's live preset.
Here we
right
go.
here.
It starts with the compressor. It could be polycapo, which I know is a big question a lot of players have. I have 3 overdrives, tone sovereign.
Yep,
which
1,
takes a
2,
good
3.
bit, the prize drive that takes.
Oh,
a
you
good bit.
have
I have an
you have
OCD.
you have the heir
Don't do the
apparent,
head shock.
heir
The heir
apparent,
apparent.
and
Tone sovereign's the
OCD.
king of tone. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the double one.
Tone sovereign is heir apparent is Prince of Tone, so that's the single.
Right.
That's what I do. And then there is there's a volume block, and then my stereo change starts. So I have stereo
here, yeah.
chorus, stereo chorus, stereo retro reel, stereo
Retro
trem.
reel takes a lot of DSP too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I have 3 delays.
Yep.
I think it's Adriatic and 2 tapes, which those are bigger DSP users.
Yeah.
I have a glitz in the top row, but I could
Sure
actually
do.
put dynamic hall in there because on the bottom row I have a legacy hall
Yeah.
and a dynamic hall.
Look at this, Bradford. In your glitz location, you can put any of the stereo reverbs you want.
The dynamic plate, the way I know dynamic plate takes up more DSP is because that's often grayed out over the dynamic hall. So that
Yeah.
tells me. So I could put a dynamic plate. Bottom row is those other 2 reverbs, and it should be, I think, the trem's down there, which I put because
Yep,
I like
trem
it.
in
I
there.
needed some space. And then 2 stereo amps. One is an Agora, and one is the matchless. It's an Agora Plexi. The other
Yep.
is like a standard matchless, which I chose more because I wanted a matchless. I could have done the Agora, but I don't know how many changes I would have had to make on that patch line. Could I use it?
You can use a lot of
I
the
see
Agora
some-
amps up here.
I
You
have
could
several
use
options.
the AC30, the Plexi, the Ecstasy. So that's in addition to 2 reverbs, a stereo cab, and modulation, and EQ.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
could have done it. I just wanted like a DC30 like as part of the sound. So does that answer the question?
Let me go through mine. So,
Yeah, go through yours. I'd say that gives so let me say this real quick. If I were to make that patch in original Helix, I would have had to use simple pitch. I could not have used anything
Yeah.
poly. I would not have been able to do 3 reverbs.
Right.
Maybe not 3 delays. Typically, the 3rd delay would have had to been like a legacy something or another. It typically can't be any of the new era of delays, whatever you want to call that, the HX delays, I guess.
Right.
So if that perspective helps, and I like my stereo amps at the end of the chain, I will not move on that. I'm not going to put one in the middle and stereo effects after. Sorry, that's not for me. You can anybody can absolutely do that. Because people will be like, well, if you use 1 amp, and I'm like, well, if you used a Strat instead of a Tele, you could bloody. It's like, if you use a Strat, more people would like your tone.
So-
I'm just kidding.
More people would like your tone. Oh boy. So in this whole, how much more can you fit in? We're gonna do a video on it, like a little more in depth. But I brought in my live Helix preset that maxes out OG Helix. Like, you can't put anything more into it besides maybe like an EQ or a small DSP compressor. And it's very easy. If you have HX Edit on your Helix, I know not many people are going to have a Helix and a Stadium all at the same time. But like, if you have HX Edit up and then Stadium Edit up, you can literally drag from HX Edit and drop into Stadium, which is cool. So, anyway, I brought that in and I was able to like change my pitch block to a poly pitch block. So like, what maxed out Helix now lets you have poly pitch effects in the top row and then more. So anyway, this is my live preset. I'm going to walk through what you get in it. All these are linked over at Signal. They're not linked. No, they are maybe linked below. They're at signaltheoryaudio.com. So it starts with a compressor. I also do the dual pitch for a POG. I have crammed so much into this top row that I do not have poly pitch available, but I could. Then I've got 3 overdrives. I think they're very similar to Bradford. King of Tone, Prize Drive, or Prince of Tone, OCD, then volume. Then I've got 2 modulations. One is a pitch.
You did Prince of Tone, Prize Drive, and OCD as well?
Yeah. We didn't consult on these presets either.
We did not.
Like, we just built them separately. But
Yeah,
we have similar preferences.
I would love there to be more drives introduced to the Helix. People may say there's a lot, but like as far for the things I grab, I don't grab 75% of them are not what I would use.
Yeah. So I like to use the stereo dual pitch as a micro pitch. It works great for that. So I have that in there, but it takes a bit of DSP to do that. Then I have
like
chorus.
More of a modulation chorus thing. So you use micro pitch more like, okay.
I'm using the pitch for a chorus sound. Then I've got regular chorus. Then down the road, I've got trim. I have 4 delays in my top row. This is impressive. I have a glitch delay, which I have set up to Bradford. I haven't shown you guys. I haven't shown you. I have it set up to mimic what H90 does. That whoop, 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 that thing. What's that thing called? Polyphony.
Can you do the sound one more time?
Whoop, 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 whoop. Yes, I can. Thank you.
I can't hear. I think the timbre in that time around was different. Can you do it one more time with the same timbre as the first time you did it?
You got it twice. That's it. Then I've got a legacy delay, vintage digital, and a dual delay. Then I've got a plate verb and a dynamic hall reverb, all in the top row. And do I have room for more stuff? Not really. That pretty much maxes out the top row. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 effects blocks in the top row. About half of them being stereo modulations, delays, reverbs. That's way more than you can do on Helix. Okay.
That's crazy.
Bottom row is where I have my amp blocks. So I have 2 of the new Agora amps. I love the Tweed Bassman. It's my favorite of the new amp blocks so far. So I have the Tweed Bassman and the Plexi, 2 impulse responses, a stereo EQ, one of the new reverbs, the Shimmer. So I have 3 reverbs in this as well, along with 4 delays. And then I have a stereo gain block. So all this to show also with 2 Agora amps, a stereo IR block, a bigger, newer reverb. We still have room. Do we have room for stuff? Like, I could put like tremolo down here if I wanted to. Like, that's a lot of stuff. So people have asked, like, do the Agora amps take up so much more room that it basically makes it a wash? I would say even the Agora amps, you're able to put more in a row than you were with Helix using the HX amps, if that makes sense. So to answer the question, how much more powerful is it? Much, much more powerful.
Yes, and John just said, you must have just joined, John, because we tried that on the pitch. My patch and Brian's patch, for all intents and purposes, are pretty similar, like distributed DSP-wise, I'd say. And we threw the polycapo in mine, and it worked. Like, he just did that. So, obviously, didn't mess with it.
I actually want to look because I'm curious now. You can put polycapo on your first row, and your first row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks, and about half of them are stereo. And one of those 12 can be a poly pitch block. Like, they've opened it up for us, yeah.
Yeah. You know, somebody asked this, and I said I answered already, but I'm wondering if I'm right. John White, we keep mentioning top row versus bottom.
I'll put that.
Each row use independent DSP. It did in Helix.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Stadium's the same way, right?
I think it seems to be, yes.
Yeah, I said that was, but I don't know if I would. Well, you know what? It would have to be because I can't cram much more on my bottom row, but I can put stuff up top. So I would imagine if it wasn't split, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's the same way.
So I'd imagine it'd have to be.
I am not. It doesn't seem that I'm able to put comments on the screen. So I have been able to do that in the past. But if we talk about your comment, we'll just reference it. So sorry we can't display it.
Worship for Life. Will you guys make a video on transferring old WT Helix patches to Stadium? If you need us to, but all you do is drag and drop.
Or you can export. If you still have your Helix, you can just export individual presets and then import them into Stadium just like you would any
Bada bing.
It's as simple as just pretend it's a Helix and just drag it in. That's all you'd have to do.
So that's like an internal conversation. Well, not internal. Internal as in like this is more specific to like WT and signal theory. If you have patches from us, just drop them in. One thing we noticed is that it's like they sound the same, but like better. So
more hi-fi.
Like, yeah. It's like you bought, you had your 1080p TV and then you bought one that's 4K. It's like your video game did not change. It's just you had a better TV to play the unit. Like an N64 on my 4K TV is going to look a little bit better than it did on my TV when I was 10.
But it's the same.
So
games.
it's like it's the same exact thing, but it's got this little extra bit of something that's there, and I would feel like I could confidently say that that's not perceived better. Like it's just like because we asked about that, and it's like well everything in the unit is higher quality, and so it makes sense that things are going to sound a little bit better. Things are more efficient, which is part of it too. Which I don't understand what that means necessarily, but so if you buy a patch from us or anybody that was made for Helix, it'll fit. You just drag it on in. And in terms of like this housekeeping, like updates and whatnot, we're not really gonna update because
I got the comment in, by the way.
Oh, you got it, by the way? Okay.
Yeah.
I
figured it out.
Unless I'm like live, which I'm not gonna do that because I'm using bandwidth at home to begin with.
Yeah.
But going forward, Brian and I aren't 100% sure how we're gonna do patches quite yet for Stadium because Proxy's not out. We've been asked if we're still going to support Helix. I think the answer is there's no way it's not going to make sense. Yeah. We support units that like combined don't bring in the revenue that Helix does. So we have like several units that like Helix is far and away our biggest seller for us. And so Helix would have to drop pretty stinking low to like 95% of people would have to stop buying Helix patches for us to stop making them.
Yeah.
Like 95% of people, which is a lot. So we're in it until, a while. We're not really sure specifics. Like we're going to be kind of focusing on getting some capture packs to people from amps, which will be really fun. We currently have 17 patches for Stadium on the site on Signal Theory. That includes 15 Agora amps. Well, not 15 specific amps. Like, what is it? The Ecstasy is 2 channels. And we have 2 of our, we just created patches from the ground up using Stadium.
Yeah.
I did at least. Brian, you drug yours in and kind of made more tweaks, you said, right? Is that what you said?
I pretty much built it from scratch. But it's
I was thinking something else.
It's going to be very similar to...
Yeah, same.
To what we
different.
The live presets we use that are available, like the signature presets, but different amp blocks, and we tweaked all the effects and things because the amps. We'll talk about this in this video. The Agora amps respond differently to effects in a way that is better. So yeah.
All right, get some questions.
I just lost. I'm having trouble with technology here. Why don't we talk about Agora versus HX modeling? Because we had that question, and then I lost my comments window, so I can. Oh wait, there it is. I got it back.
Well, Israel R gave us a super chat, so before we do that, I think we
talk about that.
Address that.
Yeah. Thank you for your super chat.
That. Yeah.
Our IR is the only thing that can be used from Helix-based presets. Well, yeah. So
we kind of just covered that. Yeah.
Yeah. As Bradford said, you can pull in any preset you have for Helix. You can pull it in to Stadium. The only thing is, it will not keep the mapping of the IRs. So you have to note, okay, if this preset has this IR or these IRs in it, you have to import the IRs, which you can now. We'll talk about this later too. The way you can manage your IRs and favorites is so much better. But you'll have to import the IRs and make sure they're mapped. But then you can use anything else from Helix works in Stadium. Yeah. Thank you for your super chat, Israel.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about modeling, the amp modeling, if it's better? Let's do it. We have a video coming out tomorrow, so subscribe if you're not here on the channel.
Yeah,
We're
make
gonna
sure
do.
this is signal theory, and some of you may not have realized you're on a different channel because you saw the link and you're like, "Oh, this is great." We'd love it if you would subscribe. That helps us a lot, and
Yeah.
literally takes you 2 seconds, and there's no negative for you. It's just all positive, unless negative is, "Oh snap, there's a new preset for Stadium that I gotta buy," and that's a negative to you.
Yeah. The yeah, we have it. So we have a video publishing on the channel tomorrow or the next day, where we're looking at the deluxe reverb amp model, and there's a preset that is like the HX model, the Agora model, and you can switch between them. They sound different. Actually, the HX model has a lot more gain in it and a lot more brightness, and not in a pleasant way. The Agora model sounds significantly better. So we have those videos coming. So we're going to do a handful of them. We're going to look at multiple amp blocks. Bradford's going to do some. I'm going to do some. So stay tuned for those. But the new Agora modeling is I think it's a big, significant improvement. One man's significant is another man's very subtle to, I can't hear a difference, though, when it comes to these things, because Bradford and I, as you can see, both of us are just surrounded by amps. We spend literally every day playing, capturing amplifiers, and then building presets based on those. I mean, this is like, our ears are very, very hyper-tuned to these things. And so
Yeah.
when we say something is a significant difference, that might not seem so significant to you, but in our opinion, it is. So we can talk about why we think it's significant.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, having played some of the HX versus Agora models, Bradford?
Yeah, I think it's people, they get so focused on, well, I thought you said this was so good, whatever, you're like, and now you're saying Agora is better. And I'm like, yes, because if something better comes along, now like, you got to compare things to something. That's always an interesting thing. Brian and I, though, have always said that we don't necessarily love Helix because it's like the best sounding thing in every facet. That's not why we love it. But what we have said is that, like, Helix is the best unit to us, hands down, because it sounds great. The community that's built around it is incredible, and it's a very user-friendly device, and updates are constant, and they're not just like, the updates aren't just giving you things that the creator of the unit thinks you want. The updates are like the team at Line 6 listening to feedback and listening to people request things in there. So like it's multifaceted. They're a great group of people to engage with too. So there was always, I know for me, there's always been this, like, I never really identified it as a frequency thing, but it is, like, where I could not, like, there was always just something about each amp model that I did not love. And it was like, we're talking like, it wasn't stopping me from playing the thing. It just was like, I don't, because there's something about Fractal I don't like either. It's got this squishy thing, like, that's the way I could describe it, that makes me not enjoy playing it either. Well, as much. Like, I like playing Fractal. I like using everything we have access to, for many reasons. Like, everybody benefits when we play everything, because then it's like, I like this, I don't like this. Well, let's grab this, let's figure this out, and all that. So Agora, that frequency thing is not there anymore. It's got whatever it was. It's not there anymore. And I think when we do tone match stuff, it brings that out, and so that was nice. It helped, like, close that gap a little bit more. But the Agora amps have, like, this, in the best way I can describe it is, like I was saying earlier, it's like 4K from 1080p. It's not necessarily that it's like earth shattering, because what would that mean if Line 6 released something that blew your mind with how good it sounded, but like Helix never did? Like, they've always sounded like the amp to me. Now it sounds a little clearer. It sounds better. There's more. There's more. I don't know what the word is for this, but you were kind of talking about this. Like, the knobs have. There's more of a sweep on the knob. Like you can fine tune your gain more. Whereas before, like I felt like you had like jumps, and you didn't necessarily have like a smooth taper of adding gain to an amp, for example. Like it may not be a lot, and then all of a sudden it's too much. So you're able to dial things in a little bit more. Like it's like those knobs were like, even though you have a dial, it's not like a step dial. It was almost like it was like stepped. It was almost like you had like a clock. It was like you're on 9 o'clock and then you're on 10 o'clock, but you can't get between 9 and 10 o'clock. Like it's kind of how it felt. The taper feels different, which is a digital thing because it has nothing to do with the actual physical knob. And they feel really good underneath your fingers, which if you feel good, you're going to play better. Like if things feel better. And so that's not perceivable to the audience, but I told somebody this too. Someone was like, but is it noticeable in a mix that it's different? I was like, I'd be hard pressed to tell you if someone's playing a freaking pod bean in a mix, like versus
in a mix.
Like so,
yeah.
So it's like so I'm like, no, so it's not better, and like I don't think anybody can tell because, Josh at JHS fooled thousands upon thousands of snobby cork sniffers into thinking that he was playing his louder is more good amp, and he was using tone junkie profiles on a Kemper forever, which freaking proves the point. So
I noticed, Bradford, a technical question for you. I was in the software trying to move your camera shot over because you're like you're almost off the screen in the middle. I don't know if you see that. You probably don't. So if you could move to your would be your left.
Can you see me live? Is that better?
That's better. Now you're in the middle. I was sorry, it was a technical question. No, you probably can't see it because I'm not able to reframe your shot. I don't know.
It kind of just picked where to put me, didn't it?
I think it just went right to the middle of your frame. But you're widescreen, but you're like half of the anyway. Thank you.
There we go. Is that better?
Beautiful. It's perfect. The Agora amps, that to me they sound better. In that video that I did, because I just did this yesterday, right? I did 3 scenarios. First is I set the amps exactly the same, like all the settings exactly the same. The HX amp sounded different. It was brighter and had more gain. So then what I did was I tried to match HX to Agora. It got closer, but it still didn't sound as good. It was like you pull the brightness down and it got muddy, or it got dull. You push the bass up and it got flubby. So it's like I couldn't quite get it to sound as good as the Agora amp. I then pushed it with overdrive, which sort of equalized things a bit. I then I'm getting a notification that you're a lot quieter than me, Bradford. I can't hear that, so I'm going to pull my level down just a bit and keep yours up. So hopefully that will equalize things. Let
me see. I added a compressor.
Ooh, now you're louder. Okay, cool.
I brought it up a good bit, but a compressor may help since I can lean back a bit. Let's do.
It's hard to do this stuff live. You watch like an NFL
no way to test check it.
Yeah, you watch like an NFL football game, and you're just like, how in the world does this production even happen? So anyway, then I sort of optimized both amps blocks because you're not going to just set your controls all to 5 and call it a day. You're going to like dial in the amp so that it sounds the best with your guitar. So that's what I did. I took the Agora amp, I added some hype, I tweaked the sliders a little bit so I really liked it. I did the same with the HX amp, and they both sounded good, but the Agora amp sounded significantly better in my opinion. And the hype control added a lot because it adds compression. It does an EQ thing. It sort of makes it smoother sounding. And the other thing that I noticed in the 2 amp blocks is the depth and dimensionality of the Agora modeling is better than HX. HX feels thinner. I don't know how else to describe it. It feels brighter and thinner, and that I think plays into how well it handles wet effects, reverbs, and delays with gain.
Yeah.
So the last experiment I did in this video is I did 2 of them in stereo, 2 HX amps in stereo, 2 Agora amps in stereo, putting stuff into the front. As you might imagine, when you have 2 of the blocks in stereo, the effects are then doubled, right? So it sounded better with 2 of them. And the way that it handled, I did like a ambient lead part with like an ODR1, a dotted eighth delay, and a big dynamic hall reverb. And the way that the Agora amps took the effects was much better than the HX effects, the HX models. And I will say, I know people, there have been a lot of questions. How does it compare to Quad Cortex? How does it compare to Axe effects? Doug Doppler, hello Doug. Doug asked the question, how does it compare to those 2 platforms? And I understand, we don't like to talk about that because, one, it's really hard to make those comparisons.
Yeah,
and
there's
2,
we're not opposed to offering insights, but you're asking a subjective question, and we very much pride ourselves on helping equip guitarists to use what works best for them. And so we're not going to also hype something up. So that's why we can't, if we hype stuff up, people get mad. They're like, oh, they're just hyped because it's new or whatever. But if we don't offer a direct opinion, they think that we're like trying to protect something. And it's like, no, we've always been the same, where it's like pitting one unit against another doesn't help anybody. And we also don't want to say like, Stadium's the best thing in the world, you should get it, and then you get it and then you're disappointed and you're like, I'll never trust those signal theory guys again. So it's like,
it's hard to
use
do.
our expertise in all of these units to offer a clear-cut comparison as to why somebody may want one over the other.
Yeah.
And I will say
this much. Fractal modeling, which I think that you could say pretty confidently has been what people consider to be, there's a lot of qualifiers there, what people consider to be the gold standard in amp modeling. Not capture, but amp, they call it white box modeling, where they model all the components of an amplifier to give you an amp model. I think Fractal has long been considered the top, the best. And I would say Fractal modeling sounds better than OG Helix HX modeling. I've said that in videos before. I'll stand by it. I don't love the way Fractal amp models handle wet effects into them. And I don't think there are that many people in the Fractal universe who run presets that way. Like, I just think that most people with Fractal devices put all the effects after. That's how I see any kind of Fractal demoing. That's how it's always done. I don't love the way the amp models handle wet effects. They don't do it naturally, in my opinion, as naturally. The Agora amp models, I think, sound at least as good as the Fractal amp models. I would hesitate to say better, but they don't sound worse, in my opinion. I've done a fair bit of A/Bing. They sound different, and I talked about this in that video that's going up. Let's just stay on the Deluxe Reverb. Fractal modeled Cliff's Deluxe Reverb. I think it's a vintage one. I'm not sure, but they modeled his amp. Line 6 has their own Deluxe Reverb, which I also think is a vintage model. And those 2 amplifiers are not going to sound exactly the same. There's tolerances and parts.
The physical amp that they utilize as a comparison piece, in a way like a tracing grid.
So those 2
audio
amps
sounds different.
Won't sound the same. What tubes are in them? Like, how old are the tubes? When did they have the caps been changed? You know, what mods may or not have been done on any of those amps? Like, that's why if you play the Fractal Deluxe Reverb and you play the Agora Deluxe Reverb, they don't sound exactly the same, because they're different amps. And so I don't think the Agora amps sound worse than the Fractal amps. And in some cases, I like them better in certain ones. I do like the way the Agora amps take effects more than the Fractal ones. I'll just say that. Just say that much. I think Fractals, Since I don't want to hang out on this comparison thing, because Joseph Griffiths, your comment is appropriate. What's your opinion on the silly tribalism at the moment? I think it's silly. I think people should play what they love and what inspires them and be happy. But I think Fractal's effects models are amazing, and I'd love to see more of like the drives that they have available come over to Stadium. So anyway,
that is, I was a little disappointed when we found out there was no new effects.
Yeah.
And I think from a marketing standpoint, like when the Big Sky, for example, when Strymon released the Big Sky and they did the MX, I don't remember I think there's a couple new algorithms. I can't remember. When it comes to reverb, I'm like a very specific kind of desire. I have a very specific desire. I like very big reverbs, but I don't like experimental stuff either. Like I don't care about like the Magneto, and like I don't care about the other stuff. Give me like cloud. I don't really use bloom. I want a big hall. I want a big plate. Like I use spring every once in a while, that kind of thing. I forget why I was bringing this up. Oh, I think if like Line 6 were to have optimize effects and they said, like built from the ground up, like if they were to redone it, I think that would have been a good idea. Just as a marketing perspective. I mean, you could tell the truth and tell people whatever you wanted, but like if you at least like said to people that you did something to make it more optimized for Stadium, I think people would have appreciated that instead of like they're just the same. And there's that. But when you look at what Stadium is and you want to compare it to other units, one thing that I think it's hard to do, and this is a different perspective because we have all these units so we can make product. We're not sitting here trying to pinch pennies and figure out like, well, if I can only buy one, what is the answer? And so I recognize that like maybe I think our perspective is helpful because of that, and that's why we do what we do. Like we love helping people and we make all this stuff, and it's like I don't get joy out of like I don't really use Fractal Live, but I still had to buy a controller because I got to demo stuff. So it's like I didn't enjoy having to spend money on that just for this, but like it makes demos easier, right?
Sounds like how I felt when I bought a Mark II Kemper stage.
Oh yeah, there you go. This is exactly. But I think these other modelers or these other companies are playing checkers while Line 6 is playing chess. Line 6, Eric Klein specifically, his idea behind like Stadium and everything it has is to expand upon the live guitar playing experience. It's not merely focused on how can we give guitar players something that sounds great. He was thinking outside of that as well. And so Stadium is named as such because it has to do with the kind of venues they envision it being used in. Now, I do think it's interesting because I'm like, if you're playing in stadiums, do you need one device to control the whole show? Like you'll probably be paying people to run lights and fire tracks and all this stuff. But we got units that do different things, and people say like, well, the price increase is so big. Well, we know part of that is due to the screens above each button. There's nothing like that on Quad Cortex. The touch screen it works fine on Quad Cortex, but Stadium's works just like my phone does. And like the responsiveness is incredible.
We got to come back to that. Yeah, the touch screen.
Okay, yeah,
it's so good.
Somebody goes, why is everybody hating on Kemper? Is that bad? It's exactly the same. Like, they just repackaged it and said, oh, you can have a couple extra effects. So
their new modeling is where is it?
Yeah. So it's more about it's not that it's bad, it's just the fact that it's like they acted like it was something groundbreaking and we don't have the thing that everybody wanted, and all they did was give us a couple extra effects. But like we're comparing units that do different things, and so still Fractal is still the most expensive unit. To get your Axe FX 3, and really, honestly, I think it's fair to say like FM9 and Helix Stadium are a more similar comparison to a certain extent. Or I guess Stadium XL got an expression pedal. Stadium does not. FM9 does not have an expression pedal. Like how specific do you want to get on this comparison here? But like, I would like to see more.
You can do more in Stadium than you can in FM9 in a preset.
That is fair.
It's more powerful.
But in order to get the same thing out of your Axe effects, or a Fractal product, you have to have Axe effects. And in order to have the same physical functionality, you have to spend almost $1,000 on a foot controller. You can really get any expression pedal, but that's going to cost you at least $50, depending on how cheap you want to go. But like, you're going to have to get a foot controller. And if you don't get the Fractal one, then you're going to have to program it. Like, you can use other stuff, but you just have to program it. We're not fanboys. We're more just practical. Like, I'm more practical. When I look at, like, if I'm grabbing an all-in-one, because I'm a pedal guy, I'm grabbing an all-in-one, the unit that I know is the most straightforward to utilize and offers me the best playing experience live, it was always Helix, and it's now Stadium. Like, there's scribble strips. I don't like guessing. It's like, well, the scenes do me no good. Like, scenes are like, well, it's great because you can program 5 effects so you don't have to hit them all at once. I was like, right, but I don't remember which button's which. Like, I'm playing 3 to 5 songs every Sunday, and I'm changing up those songs every week, so it's not like I've memorized where the buttons are. I'm not trying to express that like what I do is difficult, but it's like, if I have a controller with a scribble strip on it, I'm going to choose that. Like, that's going to tell me exactly what it is. And so to me, that comparison's a little different. I mean, Quad Cortex, I saw some threads about it, and I think a lot of people who adopted it early because of plugins were getting really like, they were abandoning it because there was no plugins, and now all of a sudden we have plugins. But then now the guys who don't use plugins are now feeling like Quad Cortex or Neural doesn't care about anything else. Fractal, the updates are frequent, but like the updates are also like making it difficult to utilize things the way you used to because it's made other things better. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just expressing some thoughts about the comparison more than I am actually comparing, but to compare the sound, I think it's like, I love a good cheeseburger, but you take me to like a pub, you get one of those thick boys, you know what I'm talking about, like the big pub burgers, like sometimes that hits the spot, but sometimes I absolutely want to smash a McDonald's cheeseburger. And we're not talking about quality, because someone's gonna be like, yeah, well, McDonald's is trash, it's $2. If it was, that'd be awesome. It's like $4 for a double cheeseburger now, first off. But like, sometimes you want Five Guys. Some guys, Brian. Sometimes I don't want In-N-Out.
Oh, I do want Five Guys. I don't want In-N-Out.
You don't want In-N-Out. Sometimes I want to make my burgers myself.
My last experience at In-N-Out was better, though, I will say. Yeah. When we go to California in a month and a half, we'll go there and I'll enjoy it.
So the comparison game is funny to me because it's like, no unit is apples to apples, no matter how similar it might be. Yeah. They all focus on different things. And I think with Stadium, you're getting features that no other unit has. And it's not that like Stadium is meant to like run your whole show. And that's a different thing. Like, you can send MIDI commands out of other units, absolutely. But this is a different thing. But if there's specific questions, of course, happy to answer. But just like, well, how is it versus Quad Cortex? Like, well, to what extent? Like, what are we talking about?
I'll say, if anyone's a fanboy, I am a fanboy for Fractal. And maybe less so on the internet, because we don't make a lot of Fractal content. But Axe FX 3 and FC12 and an expression pedal have been my go-to rig for the past 5 years. Like, that's my main jam. And I have said that it's the best to me. So, I don't... well, to your point, Bradford, that setup is $1,000 more than the Stadium XL. That's a $3,200 setup.
Yeah, I don't think it's been around for how long now? What was it, 2016?
I think it's 7 or 8 years. 7 years? Yeah, okay. Something like that. I don't think that FM9 is what you would compare to Stadium. I think you have to compare Axe Effects to Stadium. And now Fractal's going to come out with their next gen thing too, and within a couple years, I'm sure. So, yeah. I mean, we love Fractal. Love it. But I love it personally. But yeah. I will say too, you were talking about effects, and there were some questions about effects. Eric Klein from Line 6 has said that everything from 3.5 on, which is a lot of effects, were developed for Stadium, and they just ported them down to Helix. So all of the effects that came from firmware 3.5 are actually Stadium effects that they were kind enough to just give us on Helix. Mm-hmm. So So
And
are
so I said,
are
I
there?
said from a marketing standpoint, and like,
Yeah,
because like people don't, it's this, we're learning this with my son too, like this
yeah,
delayed gratification thing. It's like if you offer my son like a piece of candy now, or hey, we'll go get ice cream later and you can have as much as you want, he's going to choose the piece of candy right now.
yeah.
And I think it's like they were working on Stadium and stuff within it for how long, and they offered the effects to be nice, and then and
Exactly.
like they didn't
As
have
a
to
gift.
do that.
Yeah,
And now people are saying like, yeah, but there's no new effects. And so that's why I said like, as a from a marketing standpoint, if they were to
yeah,
have expressed things, you know, I've dynamic hall sounds incredible. The dynamic plate sounds great. They don't give me 100% what I wish the verbs would, and so I find I'm a little bummed by that. But I love the quality of dynamic hall, and so that's why I'm so stoked to be able to have 3 verbs, because I use things differently. So I use glitz for like my lead sound when I use a lot of drive, and like that gives me what I want, because I don't need it to be a thick verb in that instance, but I want it to be thick when I'm playing cleans. And so now that I can have 3 verbs in my preset, it means in one song I can swap, like, because that's what I do. I change how I use verbs based on the amount of drive that I'm throwing into the amp. And so in snapshots and stomp shots, being able to alter stuff like that got hairy too, because it would be real easy for things to get backwards. That happened pretty regularly. So
yeah. Well, there's
people are
another.
saying I have a delay.
No, it's my voice is being doubled. I think somehow.
Well, they're saying it's on my voice, but I listen to the stream and I hear nothing.
Yeah.
Like I've muted it for a second. I listen to the stream. I don't hear anything. I'm on, like, I have the Apollo. The mic is plugged into the Apollo on my channel. I have nothing on. I went back and checked the stream. I took headphones off to listen to what y'all are hearing. I don't even hear it there, so I'm not sure what's going on.
I hear a double of my voice. I think it's coming back, but anyway, there's nothing we can do about it at this point. We'll fix it next time, I guess.
Unless people are confusing.
It's very faint. I hear it.
Me.
I hear it. Okay. No, none. Yeah, we don't.
Down,
we don't have our
can't
speakers on. Yeah, our stuff is all mute. My stuff's all muted. It's from our headphones, I think. Maybe it's from my headphones. I'll turn them down. So
I turned them down a little bit, but
barely hear Bradford, but it's all good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
I can barely hear you, but
now we're gonna start yelling at each other. So Jack Price, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate it. Keep the content and demos coming. We will. We got you.
The stadium just ensured that was going to happen.
Yeah.
More things.
Okay. So let's talk about. We should wrap up soon because we've been on here for a long time. I will say one more thing. I was going to make a controversial statement, Bradford.
Oh.
And we're 50-ish minutes into this live stream, so only the people watching now are going to hear it, and maybe like this many people who watch it on the replay. There were some questions about comparing it to captures. Do these new amp models sound as good as Tonex captures? That kind of thing. For me, I just said that the Axe-FX 3 has been my ride or die for 5 years, right? The best sounding rig that I have is my pedal board, which is many thousands of dollars, into stereo Tonex pedals running captures of my favorite amps. That's my A rig, the best one. Bradford, I think that you would probably say the same because that's what you run. Like, you run your board into Tonex most, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're being honest, like, that's our go-to thing.
Yeah.
No all-in-one modeling unit has been able to sound as good as that rig to me.
It doesn't. No all-in-one modeling unit gives me like that feeling. I'm willing to budge on like it sounding different. I don't need it to sound exactly the same. That's not even doable. I'm willing to budge on that, but if it makes me feel things the same way. Like I know it's very, is it esoteric? Like, I don't know, meta. Like I don't like, it's not, you can't qualify it, but at the end of the day, if we're going to like cap any of this up, and I hijacked your statement.
No, you're good.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Like it only matters what you, the player, feel. Like
that's right.
It does not matter. So anyways, you go on, because I could pontificate for a while.
Yeah. So I've had that pedal board rig, and then I've been running this rig lately with Helix with the Rev D40 in the loop, and that's awesome. It's a real amp, right? The Stadium is the only all-in-one unit that I have played that I feel is on par with the pedal board into Tonex rig. And it has to do with feel. It has to do with the way the amps respond to all the stuff you throw in it. Now, Bradford and I both are using an Eventide H90 on our boards. We're both you're using like Strymon reverbs and delays and stuff. You're using
just the reverb.
But Maris.
Big Sky MX.
Maris stuff. Like, so you're able to get, I'm using the UA Golden reverb, which is just unbelievably good. So I'm using Cornerstone overdrives, which I love. And then like both of us use a Brown Protein. Like all of these things, peace of mind is like, this is what we want to hear. I know this is what people want to hear. That's why I'm making this statement late in the video, because it's like, it's hard to make these statements because this is very personal to me and not necessarily to you. All of these, and so it's like the pedal board gives me access to effects, sounds that I don't have access to in Helix. So it's not able to replicate it one-to-one, but it's able to give me the same experience that I get when I play the board into the Helix. And Divided by Time asked, are you able... I have run Tonex, asked about running Tonex in the loop of Helix. I have run Tonex. I made a video on it. It's titled, like, is this what Stadium with captures will be like? It gives me the same thing. So to me, it's that thing is all about the amp blocks or the amp captures and how they're responding to those effects. The big caveat with that is we haven't been able to play Stadium live, and that's the true testing ground. So, I say that it's on par with the setup, with the board Tonex setup, but I haven't played it live. So does it feel on par in that situation? We'll find out Sunday.
Yeah.
But to me, personally, that's where I'm at. It's the only one that's done it.
I'm never disappointed with what I use live if I spend time dialing it in. Mm-hmm. And like typically, like if I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna use Helix this week, and I get it, and it's like it's almost there. And you know why it's not there? It's because I decided to grab Helix the night before, put it in my bag. I decided to grab a guitar, and I didn't like adjust things for the guitar. Like the guitar's output isn't as high, so I got to change the amps or the compressor, whatever. And so that's typically my downfall. That's why I like pedals though, because I like to grab different guitars, and it means the second I plug something in, if something's not right, I can go immediately and touch it and change it. And there's no saving, there's no hidden menus. It's like, oh, I need more drive. Boop. Like I can use my foot to brighten up my second stage overdrive, whatever. Yeah. And like I just don't prepare effects as much. I just don't, like sometimes I get really bored doing that. But this week, since I can use Stadium, I'm gonna dial them in. Yeah, and we'll have content on that. You know, if you're a church player and you want to, I mean, well, anybody can watch it, of course. But like, if you're a church player, you'll hear us using our rigs in church with like all the reverb that I absolutely adore using. And I don't care if people don't like it. But I want to, before we end, Brian, maybe look. I don't really know if there's anything we need to address. I lost more of the chat. Oh, it's top chat. I want to see all chat. That's why.
Well, the other thing too about like these setups for us is the amps that we're used to playing are not modeled with Agora stuff yet. Like there's no C30 Agora amp model, so it's like I'm also playing amps that I've never really played before live. So yeah, it's a different thing.
There's that in the AC30 model that they did for Agora. What is that one based? It's not.
It's a custom classic,
Helix, right?
Yeah, it's a custom classic, so it's not one of the two AC30s that were in Helix.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them making those Agora amp models. The SX.
I don't know if we've been given
Yeah.
like has there been any, what was the statement about Agora amps? I've said this a couple times in a couple different places, and I can't remember what they told us in the announcement video. Like, what did they say about what amps would become Agora? Or was it a new approach and they just so happened to be choosing ones that, does that make sense? You know what I'm asking? Like, what amps we're going to see?
I think they've said they're going to model as much as they can for Agora. So I think we can assume that most of the amps that are HX versions we will see as Agora amps.
That'd be, yeah. I mean, an Agora C30 would make my heart so happy. The AC30.
That's really all I want.
That they did for Agora right now was not. That was not like my thing. I tried a couple different speakers with it, and I'm like, it sounds like an AC30, but it's not. There's something about like the other ones that I prefer more.
I like the SX a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're so finicky, and I think part of it's also just because we're so used to hearing these amps in the Helix that the fact that they didn't clone or they didn't make the Agora version of the same exact one, we're like, nope, because it's just home. Like AC30's home for both of us.
Yeah.
But the Plexi was blowing my mind, and like, because I love a Plexi with a Strat, like low gain edge of breakup. Like, I love using that as a pedal platform. You know, getting it, and I love how it drives if you get it set just right. Doug asked if I'd be the UI on Stadium, if it'll change.
That's a good question.
My on-the-go tweaks in a way that Helix didn't. You know,
I think that was in response to you saying pedals are easier for you to just reach down and make an adjustment.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could make like a digital unit that would fix that, because then it would be ridiculous. Like, because then you're just making analog pedals again. Because I very much just like, I'm very tactile. So I'm using Stadium on Sunday, and I don't know how long. I know for Christmas, like at my church, I get to use we have like a room off stage that is typically like where like the speakers used for like rest and like prayer and like final prep and stuff, and it's like also doubles as one of our meeting rooms during the week. But during Christmas, I can use it for amps. So I'm sorry, Stadium is not that good that I will give up my live amps. You know, I never get to use them, so I will be using those but I imagine I'll use Stadium a lot for the next. Let's
make a video with them, Bradford. Maybe there's always so much going on at Christmas time, like an IEM video or something with the real amps.
If I talk to my boy,
get a recording.
See if I can just get someone to just give me the stems. That's a different thing.
So to Doug's question though, and hi Doug.
Thanks,
Doug is a good friend, and he makes awesome content, and he made a Stadium video, and the sounds are insane. So go over there and check his stuff out. When Sean and I did the high gain demo, the SLO, we did the SLO amp later, so it was like just the other day. Sean was like, I want to play that Gojira song that goes with the it's like their most famous song with the whammy. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. But we didn't have the whammy in the preset, and Sean was like, we didn't have that in here, right? And I was like, no, and Sean's like, don't worry about it. I said, Sean, give me 30 seconds. And I went to the preset, I added the pitch wham, I dialed in the parameters, I pressed the button, I mapped it to the foot controller, and like under 60 seconds, I had a pitch wham mapped to, I had the whammy mapped to expression B, the other expression, and it was all, and it sounded perfect. And Sean was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty easy. So like that was, it was much faster.
What song was it again?
Gojira.
How did the riff go? I think people are missing how the riff went.
What are you doing to me? Is it Stranded?
You just did the riff a couple times. I was wondering which. And then the whammy part. That one. Thank you. Digital Viper, right here. You and me.
I think it's Stranded. You guys, man. I'm not lost. It's not lost on me what's happening here. So
somebody asked this. I typed it in, but this is a good question. Henry, I'm sorry, forgive me if it's neither of those. He was asking about the Stomp AB. That is a very practical, simple thing. It just means you can, like I have my view set up. So
here, I can demonstrate.
So
because you have stuff on Stomp B, right?
Yeah, so I set mine up so my top right button doesn't take me into snapshots. It takes me into my second row of buttons. So there's so many effects. Well, before you had some effects that you just couldn't assign to a button because there wasn't enough. And if you're using a LT, you had 2 less buttons, even more.
Yeah.
So I just put those there. Those aren't ones I'm going to use all the time. Like I'm not going to turn off one of the verbs as often, and like a couple of maybe it was just a drive and 2 modulations, I think is what I did. I have control over all 3 verbs.
Do you want me to demonstrate it easily how you can get there?
Yeah, well, so I have mine set up. You can change it. I have mine set up so I can treat it more like a pedal board. So I hit one button, but you can press and hold to get to stomps or scenes, because snapshots, goodness.
This brings you into a different menu now.
Yeah, you press and hold that button.
So this now says Stomp B.
You got the unit.
Yeah, this says Stomp B. So you press that, and now you're in a whole other layer of 8 different stomps that you can map. And then you can get out of it, go back to Stomp A or Snaps. Yeah.
And you can choose what happens. So that button used to on Helix, you can choose it to go to snapshots or to presets. Like if you what you want that button to do. You can also choose to go to Stomp B by default, which is what I do, but I think that's a global setting.
Oh, so you have it set up so it's just toggles between A and B.
Yeah.
So you're just not using. You're just using it like a pedal board. Yeah.
Well,
which is what you
I
just
wanted
said.
it
Sorry.
in that moment. Yeah. So if I am programming songs, then I'll change it. But so that's a cool little feature. It's a practical thing. I wish and I don't know why this couldn't happen, but I wish we had an option for extra snapshots, because that seems like it shouldn't be an issue to me. I really don't know, but like,
I have a feeling they're going to add more than 8 snapshots in the future and give you access to maybe get to them.
I understand it takes processing power, but what extra processing power would it take to give you a second layer, and you could just set up in globals?
Yeah. There was a question, there were a few things we wanted to sort of rapid fire hit. I think this will end up in a separate video as well, but like of our favorite quality of life features on Stadium that people aren't really talking about.
There's 137 people watching, so they'll hear them, but we'll do a video.
Yeah. So people aren't really talking about some of this stuff, like the preset IR and favorites management built into it is awesome. So you can nest all these things in folders now. So like take IRs, for example. You can have your IR library in like as many subfolders as you want. So like you can have a signal theory folder, like this is what I have, acoustic IR folder, individual folders for each pack. So they're all organized however you want. And the presets kind of work the same. The presets are different because let's say you have a song, like I use song presets for every song on Sunday. So this week we're playing an absolute banger song, Not Your Love Never Fails, one of the other old Jesus Culture songs. Anyway, say you're playing One Thing Remains. So I have a One Thing Remains preset, and then you can create as many set lists as you want. So I can have a set list called Sunday, November, whatever this weekend is. And then if I copy and paste that preset into that set list, there's only one preset, and the one in the set list is a reference to the main preset. So if I make a change in the set list preset, it makes the change in all of that preset. So it's not separate presets. It's kind of like they're almost like bookmarks for your presets, essentially. It's kind of hard to describe, but it works well in practice. And so you're just able to organize your stuff a lot better.
Can we get a show of hands of how many people actually care about this? I think Brian needs to know that he's not alone, but I would also love it if literally nobody watched. If it was like, yeah, I don't care.
Who cares about that?
Well, there's a couple things. There's a couple things that are important to know here. First off, Brian and I make stuff, so having access to everything we make is important. So there is that. However, Brian also
I feel like I know where
much
this is
loves
going.
spreadsheets and organization in a way that Brian is such a like scientific guitar player, and a lot of people are more just like, I know that people have like they want to track their IRs, and I get that, but like if I like think I'm never going to use something, I just delete it. Like I don't need to keep up with it.
Axe Effects has like thousands of slots for IRs, and I'm out. I'm out of room.
Okay,
Eric
so
has,
a few people are with you.
Eric has said that there is room for literally thousands of IRs in the unit. So I have different favorites for I have multiple favorites for dotted eighth delay, whether it goes before the amp or after the amp. I have separate favorites for all that. Pre and post. Yeah.
Well, you have to, because when the amp, after the amp, the mix needs to be hotter because there's nothing to push back against it. So after the amp, it's different. The verbs are the same way. They react different. You can just move it, but ultimately, if you're going to do that, and this is more into like how to set up effects than it is talking about stadium. But if you're going to do that, you just got to adjust the mix level.
I feel like based on these friends that or comments that I am among friends, so I thank you guys. Appreciate that. Let's talk about the touchscreen because it's awesome.
Yes, it is. That's it. Next.
Have you used the Quad Cortex's touchscreen? I'm asking you in the viewers.
Yeah,
this is better.
we did say this towards the front of the video, but it feels like you're using your phone. I think a lot of people take that for granted. I think they're so used to. I mean, I use an iPhone, so I don't mess with Android. But the Quad Cortex touchscreen is not bad. It's just you can't do things fast.
Yeah,
I know that sounds kind of like dumb. You're like, well, who cares? But we get so we're like, we do this all the time, so that like extra little bit of quickness is very much appreciated, and the touchscreen is just way more responsive. And focus view, which we'll get to in a second, but like whole point of focus view is to be able to drag your finger around, and like Quad Cortex, like it stuff just can't keep up. And that's, I think Headrush Prime uses touchscreen. That's one of the only other ones. I think not many do it. And I think, and Eric talked about this. We were at, it was NAMM 2020, before the world shut down, and Line 6 threw a little party, and they talked about commercials on a live stream.
There's probably ads running.
Yeah. Eric talked about like initially with Helix, he showed this in his presentation, that they tried to do touchscreen and they quickly abandoned it because they realized like cost wasn't there, quality wasn't there, and they were just like, it's not worth it, you don't need it, or something like that. He wanted it, funny.
But
he wanted it, but so it was like they tabled it and got it here. So
it's there a couple things, like someone said Android or Apple. I've never used an Android. I've never owned an Android phone, so clearly
never owned one. I've touched one a few times,
Apple.
But I think this point still stands, right? I think
like the screen itself has a matte finish, like a satin finish. So like a lot of times on a glossy screen, your finger can stick. This screen, it's like very fluid.
It's matte. Yeah, it's like a matte almost.
It feels, the feel of it is really, really high. The whole unit feels expensive, very high end. But like when you open up the amp list, like you can just flick and it just, it's like an iPhone in that regard. And I think Quad Cortex will do that as well, and like Tone Master Pro. Like I think they build all those gestures in, but just how fluid and responsive it is.
Tone Master Pro does touchscreen. There you go.
Yeah. How fluid and responsive it is pretty impressive. And it's one of the only, I will say, it's one of the only touchscreen devices I've ever used that feels like a phone, like an iPhone.
And I guess that's our standard of measurement these days. But
it has to be, because everyone has that. Not everyone, but like many people. But yeah. All right. What are some other quick hits things that you love about it? Anything else we want to cover? I'm ready for lunch.
Somebody asked about the looper. I
haven't messed with it.
I haven't, and I'm not. That's not something I need.
Me either.
I know there. I think, and I hate to be that guy. I'm not trying to just tell you like just Google that, bro. But I say that because I do think Eric has addressed the looper in like what is he on the Gear forum? He's Digital Igloo on the Gear forum, right? Is that
and the Gear page? Yeah,
the Gear page. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Either way, I think that's been something a lot of people have been curious about. I have never used the looper except for like having fun at home. It's not really something I care about, so I do not know. But somebody asked, would you recommend this for a bedroom musician? This is something I think, I forget where Eric shared this, but Eric shared. So again, if you're like wondering why do they keep talking about this Eric guy, he's the chief product design architect. He presented, like he created. I mean, he won't take all the credit because he has a great team with him, but like Stadium and like HX Stomp and like Helix, like they were his thing. I think Pod Go he was not directly a part of. I think he said to us something like that, but he had this vision, and so that's why we keep referencing him. He's a great guy. Of Stadium being used by people in massive stadiums and arenas, but also at home, because the way Showcase is designed to work, and like he's like, you may think it's silly, but like you got a guy at home who doesn't get to play with people and is kind of rocking that at home. Well, you can like load stuff into Showcase and have it trigger lights and like kind of create an at-home experience. You can load multi-tracks of songs, and you can get like karaoke stems from stuff. So like you could drop those in, or like if you find someplace to get stems too. And like you could rock out. And so the whole point of Stadium is to like let people feel like no matter how big of a stage they're on, that they can have fun playing guitar. And for some people, you're like, yeah, I don't give a care about that crap. Like I just play guitar. Other people worry about the effects and stuff. That doesn't change the fact that was in fact like part of the design of the product, and it is included in the product and whatnot. So, it's got lots of cool features for people, regardless of if you're playing by yourself. The cool thing about Showcase, you could, and you could kind of do this with Helix to a certain extent. It just sounds like it's going to be easier to do now that Showcase is going to be there, because you can like if in the middle of a song you have a drummer, your drummer has like a pad, and like at the beginning of the song maybe it's like an 808 hit. Maybe in the middle of the song it has to switch to a bass drop. Maybe later on in a breakdown it needs to switch to like a verbed out tambourine. Like you can use Stadium if you're running tracks in Showcase to like set up like a flag to make MIDI changes. It could change, like send communication to your keys player. One thing as like church guys, we know like an MD, a music director, could, well, first off, I think they could actually load their microphone into Stadium and have a separate output, so they could kind of like use a switch on Stadium, for example, to deter or put the audio to front of house if they're going to sing, and then also to people's in-ears. You could do that. Then you could run all your tracks. You could have a layout on the foot switches, so you can figure that out, and you can control like a whole Sunday morning or whole set with the tracks. You can have buttons set to go to certain flags, certain parts of the song. If you're repeating something, you could drop tracks and just have click if something happens. Like it's meant to be used more than just to play guitar. It's meant to like make a whole set happen in whatever capacity. So it does a lot. We have a super chat, by the way.
Thank you. This is someone that I think you were hanging out with, Bradford, at the camp over there with Chris.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, have you tried to compare the same preset on OG Stadium, OG Helix, and XL? So the question I think is like, does the upgraded hardware digital I/O conversion, does all of that result in the same stuff sounding better? And I think we've said it does. We haven't done like a direct comparison.
Yeah, the closest we came was when we actually got to play the thing at the launch event. Back in June, they pulled up. We had a OG Helix in a Stadium, and there was 3 instances of a deluxe reverb. One in OG Helix, but then one in Stadium that is the same modeling, and then the Agora. So 2 HX versions and then Agora, and all 3 did in fact sound different. And Brian was talking about this earlier in this video about like we have at least one video coming tomorrow that is like comparing deluxe reverb. So similar idea, but when you played, if you had the settings set exactly the same for the HX model in OG Helix and in Stadium, the two still sounded different. And that's wow, this is getting really confusing mentally. The HX version within Stadium sounded better than the HX model in OG Helix, and like it was just it sounded more hi-fi. So already that told us that like it's got to just be audio components and stuff. And we talked about that. And then the new Agora sounds even better as well. So
yeah,
just dropping in a preset that you already have, which you can do, into Stadium is going to sound better.
Yeah,
you can start there.
I think you'd be hard pressed to notice the difference unless you had Helix and Stadium side by side. And you were able to switch,
which is what we were able to do. And again, it was just hearing the basic amp tones. But to me, that's all I want to hear.
We told Eric that, and his first reaction was to look at us like, "Really?" Kind of surprised. And then he said, "Let me find some stuff out." And he came back to us and said that. It's probably, he said, you're not the only person that said this to us. This has been reported by multiple people. And that it most likely has to do with the increased dynamic range of like the componentry, the inputs and things like that. So he said that, you're dealing with higher quality hardware, which is going to, result in higher quality sound. All right. I think we're good, Bradford. We've covered a lot. We will have more videos on Stadium coming soon. And subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Sean says I look hungry, Bradford. I need to go eat.
I don't know what that means. Brian and I both don't have much color to our skin. We're pretty pasty white, so that's normal, if that's what you're referring to.
He says, I'm looking hungry. I think I mentioned earlier I'm ready for lunch. So,
you did. Maybe.
Sean's maybe referring to me being hungry.
Two small ones. Phone app in the future. I don't know. I don't remember what they said about all that. The editor is wireless, which I didn't realize how much I enjoyed. When I was doing a video, I had it on the floor behind me, which I don't know what y'all can see because it's cut off. And I wanted to adjust something, and I just came to my computer and I did it. And
you were still connected?
I was still connected. It seemed really small and stupid, but for what we do, it was really nice to be able to use my computer to adjust it because it's a little faster. The other thing, can you lock the screen? Somebody asked that. That feels like a good question.
I think you can.
Because I think you can do that to Quad Cortex, which makes sense because it's touchscreen. Like that, you may want to do that.
I feel like I've seen it. I'm looking at, you can see. I've got it right here. I know that I've seen a screen lock. I want to say you can do it, but now I can't find it. I don't know. It's a good question.
I would imagine even, and here's the other thing. If it can't, that seems like something that could be pretty easy to put in a firmware update if people express it. Because there were a couple things I think actually. You know what? I'm wondering. I think Neural added that after because people asked also. I don't know why I feel like I remember that. But I feel like that seems pretty small that like if people were saying that, hey, you know what? Yeah, we could do that. Like just go to like Globals or something. There is when you go to that back end layer of buttons, Brian, there's a mute button. There's a paperclip.
Oh, I think that's for like transport controls. I think that's for
but there. Okay, so there's
for
that's
Stadium.
Something else then.
Yeah, there is an info button. I think that is Stadium for Showcase. There's a stopwatch, so you can. That's interesting.
Yes, and there's a metronome, which is cool. The metronome.
Yeah.
You turn it on, and it starts playing out of the outputs automatically. There's got to be a routing thing because there is a mixer you can go to. Rhett Shull showcased that in his video. But the metronome it plays at whatever BPM you have tapped in. Or programmed, so that's nice. So you can change that. So like I changed it. It was like default 120, and I started typing, and it changed it, or started tapping, and it changed it in the moment. So
I do not see a lock anywhere on here. Doesn't look like you can do it.
Yeah. But again, that seems so simple that like
I feel
if
like
it
I've
was
seen
requested
it somewhere though. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, this
right.
is this is great. We kind of some of these questions we took a handful and expounded on them for a while. So
Yeah. Thank you
find
guys.
us in the Facebook groups and
Yeah.
follow us here, subscribe here. If you're more of a worship player, that like anything worship specific will live on worship tutorials. It may be kind of arbitrary to some people, but to us, we have a thought process in the back of our mind. But if you don't miss anything, we'd really encourage and request and would love it, be honored if you subscribe to both channels.
Yeah.
Follow us on the socials because if you're an Office fan, Wolf, one form of communication is not enough. It would do you well to make sure you're signed up for our email list.
Isn't that the Washington University Public Health Department? Bradford? I don't know. I got him. Look,
Yes.
that one landed. All right, good.
Yeah. Andrew Shively, it feels good. Something about the OG expression pedal is a little more robust, but it is a freaking like inch thick piece of steel bent
asking
over.
about the expression. Yeah.
I think it feels fine. It does feel weird coming from the other one, but it does not feel cheap. It does. I will say it does kind of look cheap. And that's
agree.
more because of like what we're used to. Like it does not look very sturdy. But it's the shaved down on weight. The Stadium is so much lighter and significantly smaller.
It's solid.
There is a graphic floating around on the internet that I think people doubt. They like don't think it's real, but it came from the Line 6 presentation, which is funny. It's got like dimensions of like Helix, LT, Stomp, or I'm sorry, Helix, LT, Stadium XL, and Stadium, and like it shows how they differ in size. And I've seen people questioning whether or not it's legitimate. I'm like, no, it came from the Line 6 presentation.
Made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could be here all day, but we got work
the
to
expression pedal looks like it's plastic in images, but it's not.
It does.
It's metal.
It's not.
Pretty sure.
It's not.
So,
I think it comes down to the fact that we're used to seeing this like massively industrial expression pedal on Helix,
right?
And we see it on Stadium. You're like, there's no way that's legit. But like it's fine.
Pretty good.
I think it's just this preconceived notion. I like it more. I think the bent over thing was, and of course the Helix. Well, I guess it was LT had issues with the expression pedal, but
yeah,
feels good now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging with us, everyone.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Be notified.
And make sure you join the email list like as soon as possible because, just stuff happens only on the email list. So
stuff is coming, like flash sales and things like that.
Oh, Brian just said it. But also Black Friday, 50% off site-wide. 4 new products dropping.
Starting Monday.
Nothing specific for Stadium, but everything can be used for Stadium.
Everything right? Helix, yeah.
Well, yes. Nothing.
Well, there is stuff. Oh, nothing new coming specifically for Stadium. Like
nothing specifically for Stadium.
We did just make 17 Stadium presets yesterday.
What do you want from us? Yes, we did make 17, and that is Brian. Those are 17 that you can get exclusively from our website. That doesn't include other Stadium patches that may or may not, we can neither confirm nor deny, be already loaded on your Stadium.
Oh, I think we got the go-ahead, right?
We did, actually.
Hey, we're over an hour into this thing.
Who cares?
Bradford, tell us. We made some of the stock presets. Yeah, and so if you see double Brit mega guitar, US UK stereo, unlikely pair. What were your Sunday tones? I know you did.
No, not Sunday tones.
Money No Object.
Money No Object was one. It was like, and then I'm seeing if I can find it because I want to make sure I did Deconstructed Bliss, which is.
I've
like
seen people
me
use
making-
that and love it in videos, by the way.
It is like, oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Deconstructed Bliss is like me using all the fun stuff in Helix to like create the kind of sounds that I like using Chase Bliss pedals for.
Oh, that's
I
fun.
did one Studio Direct.
Yes, that was cool.
It's got like a Prince thing, and then like some McGee kind of sounds. Like it was heavily inspired by that. It's not like I was trying to cop it. That's 3, and then I did, what was the other one? Oh, I call one like Jariel or something like that. Joe Riel.
Oh,
It
Jariel,
was like
yeah.
inspired. It was inspired by like Joey Landreth and Ariel Posen's kind of stuff and the way they like to route things and have fun. Like that was what that was.
You didn't make Sunday Tones?
No,
I thought you did.
I think that was Chris. I think that was Chris Rocha.
Oh, Chris made that. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm trying to find my list. I don't know where I put it because I kept it all. But yeah, I made all of mine, and then they were due, and I put in a memory card that had old firmware on it, and it
You had to
completely
rebuild
wiped
them.
out.
Yeah.
It wiped out everything I put in there. Oh, here are my presets. I found it. And it's loading because it's on my like 10 terabyte hard drive that costs $200, and it works on USB A, not C, so it's very slow. Yeah, so I was on a Friday, and I was literally about to export them to give them over. Oh wait, Sunday Tones is me.
I thought
That's
it was.
funny.
It's
That is-
I
that is
thought
me.
it was because if you play the clip, Bradford, it's very
Yeah.
you. It's very much
Derek,
Bradford.
okay, I am Sunday Tones. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to like export the thing. I was done. I was going to export them and send them to Eric, and the memory card, the card in the back started rebooting firmware, and it deleted everything. So I called Eric.
That
and I was
stinks.
Like, he was like, "Dude, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But he could tell something was wrong. And he's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Dude, all my stuff is gone.
Oh,
Is
no.
there anything you can do?" Because like surely that guy, he's like, yes, I would be the guy, but it is not possible.
Oh no. It was early
I lost
early days
everything.
of firmware and
I
things.
lost
Yeah.
everything. So I got off the phone and I quickly started. I went and I reassembled the presets. So I just drug in every single block that I remembered having.
Yeah.
I did it. I didn't touch any parameters. I had like on the effects themselves. And I saved them, saved the name, and I made sure I had any routing in, like to try to remember. And I remembered a good bit. And then a couple days later, I went ahead and redid them all. But yeah, I really am glad we can share that story because
that's funny.
It was too funny, and like I was like I wanted to share that at some point. So
If you go to those stock presets we built, all of the stock presets have clips. If you press the little clip icon, it'll play a part that we recorded through the preset. And so you get to hear Bradford and I playing. It was not the easiest thing to record those. Yeah. So
it came from the fact that people would play presets and be like, "This sounds terrible."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you're using a humbucker guitar, so the output of the pickups is way hotter. So there's that.
Yeah.
And you're not playing the style of music that patch was necessarily created for. And it was just like a really cool
brilliant
feature they
idea.
added.
Yeah.
So when people tried new presets, they could be like, that does not sound like how I play or what I'm going for. And like, it's got notes because it tells you what kind of guitar was used, what kind of pickup was used. And it's meant so people can get a better idea of how the preset's supposed to sound.
Yeah, it's brilliant, I think. And you're not. This question came in. You can't currently make your own preset, or your own clip, but you will be able to in the future. But currently, you can't do it. Yeah. Yeah. Check out our stock
Cordy
presets.
mentioned.
Alex
Davidson
he did.
said Cordy mentioned your presets, so I assume it's not classified. Yeah,
He-
we were playing.
He said something about a
very
worship
dumb on
tutorials
purpose.
preset. Yeah. Well, yeah.
we were being very intentional about what we can and can't say because we just did not know. We did not want to.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure we didn't violate any kind of NDA or anything like that. So
yeah, I mean, I'd love to keep hanging this is why we keep doing it. But I also need to get some work done.
Yeah, we do. We got more stuff to capture for Black Friday, Bradford. We better get on it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging. We never end these gracefully, so I'm going to press the finish button, see if it goes. Bye.
Peace.